Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is Wednesday, October 27th, 2010, and you're listening to episode 139 of On Tap. I'm Dale Coulis, and joining me today is the returning Matt Kohler. Welcome.
I'm back, and I'm not sick this time.
Huzzah. And no, this is not part 5 of the comic book retrospective finale. That's coming probably a few weeks, maybe a month or so from now. We want to get some extra prep time, make sure we close it out with a bang, right?
I got behind, too. There's too many good games coming out.
Yeah, it's holiday season. It's like, come on, we may take a little bit of a break before the last installment.
Yeah, hey, good games coming.
Yeah, come on. But rest assured, it is coming. Just give us like a month, maybe 2. So be on the lookout for that. And there's so many other games we want to talk about, too. So we got quite a show lined up for you guys today. It's
a very special episode.
Very special episode. We're probably going to start things off with a little Extra Life recap here, how that went down. That went down last weekend, or I guess weekend before last, technically, since we're recording on a Wednesday. And a hearty what we've been playing segment. And since it's been a couple weeks since the last podcast, and a lot of games we want to talk about. And for our main feature of the show, it is going to be like a supplemental or slash redo of the Nintendo 25th Anniversary Retrospective. We're just, since we did the last one at MGC, I listened to it again. In hindsight, I wasn't too happy with the way it turned out. We were on a time limit, 1 hour time limit, and there's just a lot of stuff to talk about on the NES to get to, and just with the live nature of MGC, listening to it, then there's a live Street Fighter tournament going on. It got us all way too easily distracted, and I was listening to it, and I was just like, oh man, there's so much more ground I wanted to cover.
It only got a generation into gaming.
Yeah,
though. Come on.
One of the key generations of gaming. Come on. So I was figuring, since this is the actual 25th anniversary of it going on right now, like this past week, let's do a redo. Fuck it, the NES deserves it.
Red Wii's for everyone.
Yep. And this way we can get Matt's awesome perspective. He grew up with the NES like I did.
Yes, I did.
We got a lot of games to talk about. We did a little awesome preparation, looking at some great YouTube compilations of like.
You have to set up the link for that. It's a good video. That needs to be shared.
Yes, definitely. I'll throw a link to a great 700 and some odd NES games in 15 minutes montage.
Shows 1.1 seconds of each game, but it's enough just that you can recognize it. So there's a full list of the games too out. So
yeah, we did a lot of awesome prep work for this, and I guess let's just get right into it and with the Extra Life recap. I will say it was a great time. We raised $131 for it, for the Children's Hospital in North Dakota here. So obviously didn't make our $500 goal, but you know what? I'm glad, anything helps, and just a big thanks to everyone who donated. I know Bistix did, Nico Kusanagi did, and we had a mysterious third person donate $1. So thank you to you, mysterious third person, donated $1. I know my brother said on Facebook, he's like, I'm going to donate $1, Dale, to see you to sing some songs in karaoke games. I'm not going to do that for a fucking $1. You're going to have to donate more.
You cheap bastard.
You donate $1 anyway, so if that was you, Joe, thank you. Anything helps. So
you're not a cheap bastard.
Yeah, you're not a cheap bastard. So I know it must have been hard for people to donate to us too, since PS Nation, their donation page, they're doing this awesome raffle, just giving away tons of great prizes. But I know Bistix told me he got the package I sent him for some shirts I was able to rascal up, and the Prince of Persia action figure. So glad you like it, man. And I guess I'll just kind of run down just how the day went, what we played for it. I'm just going to give the Cliff Notes version of a very in-depth blog I wrote on VG Evo. You can look on my blog page on VG Evo and find, I'll probably put a link to it too on the show notes if I remember, of the whole experience here. But pretty much this is the first year we participated in it, and it's been going on for the third year for VG Evo. And we let's see here. I started off playing with WWF No Mercy on the N64. I was like, I want to do the 100-man survival mode, and because I've never been in it. I got up to the 100th guy, but never been able to beat him. So I started off, and the computer got lucky the first time and eliminated me just a few minutes in. I only eliminated like 2 guys. It was pathetic. And the second attempt, I got pretty far for my creator wrestler, and I got eliminated by Mankind with that cheap-ass sleeper hold the computer can exploit, or anybody can exploit. You can do it out of a weak grapple. It's easy to get eliminated with. Curse you, Mankind. And I eliminated like 71 guys before I got eliminated, so...
That's terrible.
And it was cool. I had an awesome time interacting with Biff Sticks and another awesome VGEVO user, Lag, who's been on making some appearances on the 360 Nation podcast. You can listen to him on there lately. Just kind of... Every time a wrestler ran out, we're reminiscing of like all the classic Attitude Era days, and
when wrestling was good.
Yes, and they're like, oh, I remember Chris Jericho, and they're like, oh, I remember this guy, but yeah, he's dead. Yeah, that guy's dead. This guy's dead.
You should also add it in TNA now,
or in TNA now. Yes, I probably did. So it's just an awesome time reminiscing of them. Probably like one of the best times on the whole Extra Life Marathon. That first few hours playing No Mercy. Next up, threw in Star Soldier Vanishing Earth, and got to the last stage in that game. Was hoping to beat a game somewhere in this thing.
What system is that on?
N64.
That's on N64?
I don't know if you remember this, Matt. We actually rented it one day.
I remember playing it, but like I said, I was a huge fan of the NES version.
Yeah.
Coincidentally.
There's many versions of Star Soldier. There's even a version out on the Wii, too.
But it's
currently.
an NES show.
Yep. Yes, that's right.
I actually own it on the NES. It's a great game. I suck at it.
Yeah, I suck at this too. I had it on very easy, whatever the lowest difficulty was, and kept running out of lives. And you could set it too to where you can pick what stage to start out on.
Yeah.
Once you get there and start off with the most amount of lives you can, and I had like 9 lives, I think the most you can set it to, and I start off with 9 lives on the last stage, and that's where they have a mid-level boss and a boss, and I just couldn't pass it.
Dale, that's terrible.
I suck.
Last stage on easy with 9 lives.
I suck.
I don't know if that's bad or not. I don't remember it enough.
Yeah. From there, we went on to the 360, and Chris and Liz joined me and a couple people on my friends list, do some firefight on Halo Reach, and we got schooled a couple attempts on the default difficulty, and then I loaded up my this one match settings so you can get all the achievements for firefight mode within an hour with some very cheesy default cheesy settings to where you can have infinite health and infinite rockets with infinite jetpacks. So you're soaring all over high with the jetpack, shooting down rockets on enemies for some easy achievements. So that was actually fun. I had an awesome time playing that. I think I did some too with Lag there on the online, and my buddy Ryan, who's been on the show a couple times before. So we had a blast doing Halo Reach there for a couple hours. And after that, did Legends of WrestleMania, Matt.
It's a great game.
Finally, you got me this earlier this year. Finally got around to throwing it in. Steve actually gave me a call. Buddy Steve, another person who's been on the show before, a long time ago, a few episodes. He called me. He just got a 360. He got on Xbox Live. I can give you his gamer tag if you want. Because he's looking for people to put on his friends list. He just got online, and he is like, I'm like, all right, what games do you got? He's like, oh, let's play something online. I'm like, all right, what? Oh, hey, let's play Legends of WrestleMania. There we go, and we played a bunch online. And
what do you think of it now? Now that you've gotten a little more hands-on.
Actually, I played for about a good hour there, and
I like the arcade style, man. It's really
I'm coming
fun
around on it. Like the first time playing in the demo, I was just all confused. I'm like, what are these QTE mini games to pull off some Irish whip moves? I'm kind of mixed on that stuff. When it works, it's good, and I guess it's a new way of doing it. And it's cool that they tried something new instead of just making the SmackDown engine with Legends.
It felt different, and I'm excited about. That's why I'm excited about All Stars, which I think has a release date now, March 29th. I want to say it is, which. I think I was on the back of the SmackDown vs. Raw 2011.
Yeah, I'm psyched for All Stars. And after a couple hours, it was fun. I want to go back to it and try, because the game. Yeah.
Well, the relive, rewrite modes and stuff like that are really fun. Like, you have to do the match according to the way it is, and it actually provides quite a bit of challenge at times. So.
And just that first hour alone, after I did some matches with Steve there, I tried out some one-on-one matches. I'm like, I can get these achievements, and within an hour, I had like 200 and some odd gamer score for the game. So
that's one of the few I actually got all 1,000 points in. So.
Yeah, so I had an awesome time with Legends of WrestleMania, and after that, I got my only little bit of pinball action in the game, and I threw in like a little bit of Pinball FX and Pinball Hall of Fame. Only played for about a half hour before moving on to my next game. Thought I'd go back to it later on too, in between other games, but nope, too much shit to play. After pinball, it was time for my punishment. We're kind of taking requests too from people who donated, like saying, "All right, we'll." And this was actually Bisstick's idea, so I'll credit him for it. He made a thread for it on our forums on VG Evo. He requested that we play that I play Lord of the Rings online for an hour, and I was like, "No, Biff, you got it." He made an awesome.
That was a good idea too. But
yeah. That was cool, and I threw that idea out there for other people to donate, but we didn't get too many other donations, and the other two people who didn't make a request. So,
you're lucky I didn't have any money for that because I had a idea myself, but I don't know whether you want to share that or not. But
oh yeah, I think I threw it out on the last podcast too. But I remember I was like, all right, if we make our goal, I'll do Matt's idea, which was to go to Transformers 3 in a Bumblebee mask.
We have to go to the premiere of Transformers 3, knowing that I hate Transformers 3. Dale loathes it.
Yes.
But the thing is I like how bad it is, so I'll enjoy that. But I'm like, you actually get mad when you watch it.
I do get pissed.
I'm gonna get him a cheap plastic Bumblebee mask, and we're gonna go in and be like, yeah, Transformers. Start yelling.
But the goal wasn't met, so I don't know if I'll do it anymore.
Yeah. I was going to give him $100 for that, but me and my wife talked it over, and we thought about it. And she was pretty close, but we just didn't have enough money kind of day. So.
It would have been a tax write-off. You have got it back.
That's a lie, Dale.
No, it is.
No.
It is a tax write-off.
I don't believe you.
I got it says so right there on the
I'm just kidding,
Matt. I got proof.
Tax write-offs.
Tax write-offs, like they exist. I donated $50. I'm going to get a tax write-off. It would be awesome. All right. Let's see here. It's time for my punch, man. I played Lord of the Rings Online for an hour. And you know what? I have nothing against the game, and it was fine. I had a all right time playing the game. Thanks to Chris and Liz for starting me off with their awesome leveled up characters, so I didn't start off doing boring introductory tutorial shit. And I think Liz was showing me the ropes on the controls, and I was playing with Chris at the same time, and I was kind of knocking out some of their quests with them for an hour. So I actually had a pretty decent time doing it. But I just got nothing against the game. I just got something against the fact.
Not a big fan of MMOs, or
I'm just paranoid I'd get addicted, and I always have something. I'm always against the principle of paying a monthly fee for just one game.
Well, it's free now though. It's free to
play.
Well,
yeah, they got just parts of it are.
Champions Online is going free November 9th. I just found that out today, and I'm kind of interested in that, seeing as it deals with superheroes. Yeah. So I don't know how it is yet, but
I know. Yeah, we talked about it on an earlier episode too, where there's once you get a certain point in the game, you gotta start paying for better parts of the game, and but that's cool that it's free to play, just to get a good chunk of the game for free. So
we should dive into that.
Yeah, sure.
Champions Online when it goes free to play.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But we'll put a week into it and see what happens.
We'll
do a show about it.
Yeah. Maybe.
We'll do some investigative journalism.
Yes. Investigative journalism. We'll see.
That's what we'll call it. Yes.
Once I get my computer upgraded here in a few months.
You don't have to upgrade it.
Yeah, no, it needs it. Trust me. Trust me. Yeah. Okay, I need to get through this here. Then it was... Okay, then it was time for Chris and Liz's punishment, and this was far better than my punishment, because Chris and Liz actually detested their entire time playing this game for an hour, and Bisstick's recommended they play a game of Madden. So I threw in my copy of Madden 2010, the latest version I had, and oh man, this was so awesome watching him play, and we're only a couple minutes into it, and then Biff, of course, is watching to make sure to get the most out of his request, and he's in the chat box a couple minutes into it. He's like, "Dude, you gotta record this." And there's an option on Ustream, the program we're using to broadcast our live streaming footage of us playing for 24 hours. And I'm like, "Dude, I'm already on top of it," on the chat box in there, and so I got a link to it on the homepage of ontappodcast.com, and also on our forums. You go there, click to it. Watch Chris and Liz play Madden 2010 for an hour. It is priceless. Those two are barely familiar with football. All they know about football is they've been to a couple local college football games, and that's it. So they barely know anything about the fundamentals. They're asking you, like, what's a first down? And, and they're like, all right, I hiked the ball. Now what do I do? I'm just, like, shaking my head. And it's me trying to teach them how to play for an hour. It's awesome. And the worst part is, you can pick your uniforms. And usually for, like, your football games, the away team has white colored jerseys and the home team has a local home color jersey. Yeah. I think Chris was a home team and he picked a white colored jersey also because you could pick your jerseys in the game. So both of them have white jerseys and they're constantly getting their players mixed up, and it's priceless. You got to check it out.
You guys should have been nice to him and do like NFL Blitz or something.
I should have, but this was punishment.
Okay, that's fair enough.
This was punishment, and there's even a link on my blog there to watch it there too. So, while they were playing Madden, you kind of hear in the background, I was kind of going to a game too. Now this should have been punishment for me too, because but I threw in Portal for the first time in forever because I know Chris and Liz was there, and they played through both. I was like, well, maybe they can help me out. And they helped me got past the stuck I got stuck in 5 minutes into the game. They're like, yeah, just shoot a portal over there. And I was like, I never figured that out for like the half hour I was stuck on it. And then I actually got through a couple other tough spots on my own, or for me, tough. Every spot was a tough spot. I suck at the game, dude. I'm just completely clueless when it comes to that game. And I got through a few spots, and they helped me on a few other spots, and then I got to the part where you completed the portal gun. You got the red portal part and the blue portal part to help your enter and exit spots to where to go and where you go into and where you come out of in a puzzle stage. That's pretty much what it is. Then I got to the next puzzle room, and then I got stuck there. And then I'm like, all right, I'm done with this. I made enough progress. I got my first achievement for completing the portal gun. And I was like, all right, I got an achievement in the orange box. I'm happy. That's a goal for Extra Life. Got an achievement in orange box. After that, I threw in Civilization Revolution. That was another goal. Complete a game of Civilization Revolution. And that did not happen, and I played it for like about 4 or 5 hours. This is like probably the most depressing part of the day. I started it, and I was like, all right, I'll definitely have time to complete a game. I wanted the Game of the Week mode. There's this mode called Game of the Week where I guess they'll have a new custom map made, and you can go in there, and your score will be posted on a global leaderboard. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, all right, sure, this will be fun. I was going against a computer. I was playing it for about 2 hours, and I was actually doing really good, ramping up unit production. I had a good feeling I was going to win this game just by sheer just domination in units. And then all of a sudden I get messages on my friends list. 2 other people on my friends list are like probably the only people on my friends list who play the game. Happened to be online. It was like late at night, and they're like, "Hey, how long are you gonna be online? You're playing Civ Rev. Want to play?" I'm actually gonna be on till like another 10, 12 hours. Sure, let's play. I'm like, all right, let me just save my status in this game so I can go back to it later. And I couldn't save because it was a Game of the Week mode. You had to finish it in one sitting. That's one of the catches with the Game of the Week mode. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I want to. You know what? Fuck it. You guys are online. Let's play. I quit out of it. And so I go play with my buddies online, and we got a game going, and we're playing for a couple hours, and my 360 hard freezes on me. Not red rings. It just has a straight up good old traditional freeze, and so yeah, lots of progress in that game, and I was just depressed. So like 4 or 5 hours of progression of playing Civ Rev for nothing. Well, I think I got 1 9-point achievement in it for discovering my first artifact, but that was it.
A 9-point?
Yep. Yeah, and Civ Rev, it's one of those games where all the achievements are like these odd number variables.
I was going to say, like a 9-point achievement's crazy. So.
Yeah. I don't know, have you ever run any games that have those odd point variables?
No.
There's not that many. I think you might have a couple that have it, but I don't know.
Just in 5s is how it always works.
There's a few that do it, not too many do it. So yeah, so after that, getting pissed off, I went back to Halo Reach and saw some other VG Evo podcasters that were doing the Extra Life Marathon and played with them. I know Jeff from Indus, and I think one of the guys from Expletive Deleted was playing. So did some Team Slayer Invasion matchmaking with those guys, had a pretty good time. Then for the last couple hours, at this point, I was like, all right, I wanted to play some Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. I rented it, wanted to play it. Got through the tutorial in the first 2 levels. No, I got to the boss of the second level as time expired, and I had a pretty good time with it. But I think I was like the last couple hours I was starting to hit the wall. There, I was getting real tired.
I think that's where I called. I think actually, I was like,
just
randomly call at the end of the day.
Yeah, but playing games for 24 hours straight. Time to go for bed. Had a good time with Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, though I got a little agitated at the second stage's boss, Hammerhead.
He's pretty easy once you figure out what you're supposed to do.
I'm guessing he probably would have been pretty easy, but at that point I was just like getting pretty groggy, and I was just like, yeah, I want to go home and go to bed. But yeah, I had a fun time with it. And the whole 24-hour experience was a blast. I thought I would have got to play far more games. Literally, that was it. That was all I played. I thought I would have got around to playing a lot more. I bought a big box of games with me, hoping to crack open a lot more games I've never played or just barely scratched the surface of.
Rules game o box or a box of games on the side.
I should have.
That'd have been awesome.
I brought a box with me, literally filled with 360 games and a few PS3 games, and I wanted to play some Buzz with Chris and Liz. I brought Buzz with, and maybe Family Feud, but that didn't happen. But just depressing for so many games I didn't play.
Next year we should do all crappy games for 24 hours. That'd be
that should be. One guy was doing all NES games. This was the NES anniversary, and I was kind of had his live stream going in the background, just looking at what games he was playing, and that was awesome. But
it was like a steady stream of cussing.
Yeah. And one other guy was actually, I think it was a Game Crashers podcast. They do a segment on their show called Game Apocalypse, where each month they all play like a shitty game and talk about it. Oh. And so he was playing all these shitty games back to back for their 24 hours.
I was going to say, do like the Extra Life Day of Shit.
I should do that. I'll steal your idea. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it was a great time, and I wanted look forward to doing it again in the future. So.
Be a great excuse for us to throw in Crow City of Angels.
Yes. We'll redub it the PS1 era of comic book games.
No, there's other bad ones.
Yeah.
From any of the other generations.
But yeah, that is the Extra Life 2010. Thanks again to everyone who donated and watched. Had a fun time interacting with people. I know a lot of people interact with No Mercy, and we had the camera focused on Liz was playing Red Dead for a couple hours, which was kind of amusing too, and which actually had several people watching that, commenting with Liz, helping her out with it. So just awesome community, having people help us out and just help us stay awake. So thanks again for everyone who watched and donated.
Speaking of Red Dead, are you pretty psyched about Undead Redemption?
Yeah, that just came out on the Marketplace and PSN store.
Dude, hearing about the, I heard like the missions get a little tedious.
Oh, do they?
Like they're kind of similar. Like it's kind of like go there, grab this, kill zombies.
Kills them. Well, yeah.
But there's the 4 horses of the apocalypse they added in.
Ooh.
There's 4 new horses, and like each one has a special ability. Like one of them doesn't run out of stamina. Another one lights enemies on fire when you approach them. I was like, dude, that's awesome. You can hunt Sasquatch in the game.
See the zombie bears in there too, and
hunting Sasquatch. I'm like, that alone sold it on me. I'm like, Sasquatch, no.
It's just a trailer. I'm glad they're doing like a single, a one-player story expansion for the game.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I mean, like they're also doing a disc-based release too for people that don't have like Xbox.
Oh, are they?
So,
okay.
Yeah, yep. They're going to be doing like I don't know if it's separate disc just for Undead Redemption or there's a Undead Redemption combo pack that has all the DLC on it for $20 that's coming out.
Okay.
So it's the same price as buying it on Live, which is
okay.
Bad deal,
that is a very great deal.
I'm not going to buy the multiplayer DLC really. I just did the free download and I'll do Undead Redemption. So.
All right, now I think we'll just roll right into the rest of what we've been playing. I've been talking forever, Matt. So why don't you hop into what you've been playing here? Because I got quite a bit of stuff I've been playing since after Extra Life.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've kind of been just actually starting and finishing games. Like I've been in quite a few, but played Enslaved Odyssey of the West on the PS3. I chose the PS3 version just because I was a fan of Heavenly Sword and kind of. I have a weird thing.
And it seemed a lot like Uncharted too. It would have been one of those games that seemed right to play on PS3.
Yeah, it's the same way with Final Fantasy. I'm like, I gotta get my Final Fantasies on PlayStation. So
I love the demo, man. How did the full game deliver?
If you like the demo, you like the rest of the game. I wish there was a little bit more action to the game.
I heard the story development really picks up later on.
Well, the guy that wrote it also wrote the screenplay for 28 Days Later and a couple other movies. So I really like the story in the game, and the last section, like the ending of the game, is really cool. But I guess if you guys are on the ropes about it, I'd say definitely pick it up. It was a fun play.
Yeah.
But,
I'm going to have to buy it now.
No, I dug it, man. I played it, I kind of took my time. There's 14 chapters. I figure a chapter takes somewhere around an hour, depending on how you're kind of...
That sounds like a pretty good length.
Yeah. I do a
I like to
more,
explore everything.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is with exploring, it took me about an hour a level. So
that's what I did with Uncharted.
Yeah. About 14 and 15-hour game, depending on how many times you die, which... I mean, I played it on normal settings, and I didn't die them. Well, I did and did in certain areas and stuff like that. It's a little bit of a learning experience. But
are there like a lot of good set-piece moments like the demo had?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. When you bring out the cloud later in the game, and I don't know if many people know what that is, but it's this thing you kind of hover on, and there's a couple levels where you have to utilize the cloud, and it's really fun. I don't think they show it off in the demo, but they show it during trailers and stuff. So, but after that, I finished Force Unleashed in preparation for the release today. Actually, I played that last Monday. I think I rolled through the entire game. I started at 3:30 in the morning and played till 3:30 in the afternoon. I finished it on a harder difficulty, got all the holocrons, finished all the DLC.
Damn.
I just did like a massive 13. Well, no, yeah. It was 13 hours all said and done, I think it was. It was later than I thought it was, but yeah, 13 hours. I finished the entire game, all the DLC, and I went back and redid a couple levels just to get extra stuff and get some more of the achievements and stuff like that. But
was the DLC stuff really good too?
Oh, man.
There's a lot of bonus missions and stuff, right?
It's 3 DLC things, and the rest are costumes, but or skins.
Lucas really supported that game. They were releasing DLC there for a long time after release.
The Hawthorne, I know there are a lot of complaints about being really buggy. I didn't have too much trouble with it, but the Tatooine and Hoth levels are really worth getting because it's like alternate universes, I guess, like alternate versions of the Empire and A New Hope, I guess. I mean, you fight Boba Fett, you fight Luke, Obi-Wan. I don't want to spoil too many things. I probably spoiled a little bit there, but I mean, I don't want to say at this point.
Well, it gives you a good reason to buy the DLC now.
It's been 2 years since the game came out. At this point, I'm like, it's not really spoiling. I'm most people, if they wanted to play it, should have played it by now. But I'm really psyched about the second one. I've seen the reviews. The reviews are kind of similar to the first one, where they're like, oh, the story. Blah, blah. I'm like, if you're a Star Wars fan, I didn't have a problem with the story in the first one. People are like, oh, there's plot holes. I'm like, yeah, look at the prequels. I'm like, you really want to talk plot holes? I'm like, this was entertaining. I had a lot of fun playing it. And the demo blew me away. Everybody
this gives a good chance to talk about the demo. Yeah. I got a chance to play it too. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, everybody's saying the demo's blowing them away, and I'm like, hey, if the rest of the game is as good as the demo is, I got no problem with that. If the storyline's a little weak, so be it.
I mean, yeah, I've said on here before. I'm not a huge Star Wars guy. I mean, I'll go see the movies, and I'll think they're good fun. But I just had a blast with it. I like the first demo too, but the second one just seemed, from what I remember from the first, it seemed a lot more fluid. I was surprised at how fluid and just how easy and intuitive it was to pull off all the force powers and how it linked right into
especially going back from the demo. I played the demo and then I replayed the first one, and I'm like, I kind of didn't forgot how buggy the first one was, but no, I'm really psyched about the second one.
I don't know if there'll be a day one buy with me with all this other stuff coming out, but I know for sure I told myself I'll definitely at least buy it when I see a sale or a nice discount.
I'm getting the collector's edition on this one, so
cool. What's the CE coming with?
I don't know. I have no idea. Actually, I'm just gonna buy it. So.
You're just like, all right, buy collector's edition.
Other than that, I've been playing Sonic 4 on Xbox Live. I'm actually on the last area with the final boss fight with Dr. Eggman, which I hate.
I remember you told me you're having some troubles with him.
Yeah, you have to fight. There's 4 zones. 3 levels to a zone in their boss fight, just like a standard Sonic game. But you have to fight all 4 boss versions, and then I'm assuming a final boss version after that. I can't beat the 4th version again. I could get through the first 3 like nothing, but to do it all in the same amount of lives, I had a little trouble with it. But it's pretty fun. There's some frustrating puzzles. It's like the second you figure it out, you're like, oh, I'm an idiot. But there's some really cheap deaths in the game. Really, really cheap deaths where you're like, it just sends you off on a jump and you don't know, should I just keep going or what happens? And you just die. It's like a lot of cheap deaths that really kind of pissed me off. But took a little bit of the fun out of the game, but I still think it's worthwhile. I'd rather pay $10 for it, considering it's only a 4.
Yeah, and it's going to be like a 3-episode thing, $15 each.
Yeah, that
seems kind of steep.
Yeah, $45 for a Sonic game. I don't know. But started up a Comic Jumper. I'm about halfway through that. The Adventures of Captain Smiley.
Oh, yeah, no, I played the trial. Really liked it. Bought the full game. Haven't started it yet.
Yeah, if you like the trial, play the trial of it. If you like the humor and stuff in it, it's really easy to pick up and play once you get into it. And there's a ton of unlockable stuff in it, like concept art, videos, interviews, stuff like that. There's a ton of stuff in there. I think the concept art, there's 160 pieces of concept art to buy. And I think it took me 25 minutes to go there and actually buy it all. I had enough points built up that I could just buy everything. And 25 minutes of just buy item, buy item, buy item. I'm like, oh god, this is.
I heard some things how they're you gotta sit through these little animations for it.
Yep, that was probably my only complaint was the to buy stuff. But I mean that's a small complaint. But we talked a little bit before the show. I picked up SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 and get a little bit of hands-on that.
Just came out literally 5 hours ago.
What? Yeah, and but it's pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. I haven't really played any of the modes yet. I just did the practice mode, kind of get a feel for the game, and looked at some of the achievements and saw there's a 12-man online rumble for 100 points, which there's always a 100-point achievement in that game. So
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, that was one of those games that it had a Black Friday sale just a few weeks after it was out. I was able to pick it up for $30-$40. I think I may just try and see
I did
if
that
I
with
could
Dragon
score
Age
it then.
last year. I got it for $35, and I still haven't played it.
Yep. And I've barely played 2010. Yeah. I need to.
I was kicking myself in the ass because I was at GameStop yesterday, and I'm looking and I'm like, man, I bought Fable 2, the day it came out, I bought Fable 2. And now it's $12.99, and I still haven't played it.
I know the feeling, dude.
And I'm like, I'm going to quit buying games when they first come out.
That's
unless
what
I'm going to buy them on the day. I've actually, the past couple months, any game I buy, I play it when I get it. This will be an exception because once I get Force Unleashed, I'm going to start that the second up. I'm like, SmackDown versus Raw is going to have to take a back seat for a little bit. But
yeah. I wish I could follow your mantra there. I can't.
You got to stick to one game, dude. I can't get myself into too many games. So,
anything else you've been playing there?
That's it, really.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess so. I'll go through my stuff as quick as I can here. Since the last podcast we did, I did beat Front Mission Evolved, and if you go to hardcoregamer.com, there should be a review going up for that any day now. I sent it to them about a week ago, but they've been backlogged with so many other articles. They've been posting with all the holiday releases. It should be going up there pretty soon, but just some quick thoughts on the final verdict of the game there. I'm not big into mech games, but played some Armored Core games before, but this one was pretty fun. It's not like a hardcore mech fighting game like the Armored Core games are, and they want to make it really accessible by making it more of a third-person shooter with mechs too. Like for being a mech game, the action is very fast and
I actually saw
intense.
A trailer for it, and I thought it looked pretty good. And I don't play those either.
I actually had a lot more fun with it than I thought I would, and I
could say it's evolved.
Yes, I would actually recommend people to buy this game. Maybe not at full price, but if you see it go down to like $30 or a sale on it, that'd probably be a good jumping in point. There's no demo out for it, to the best of my knowledge. So, but there is any mech game. I know mech fans love mech customization, and they have that in there. And they actually kind of ease you into it every time you go into mech customization, where they ease you into the customization. Like you can either do these pre-builts, which I went with at first, if you don't want to spend time customizing at all. But then as they eased you into explaining the mech customization, it kind of eased me into upgrading my parts and actually getting into that stupid, tedious. They reeled me in hook, line, and sinker the mech customization. Though I don't think it is as in depth as it was in the crazy robust Armored Core stuff. So, but yeah, and you could really make some pretty crazy mechs, and ended up spending some time online too, having some pretty decent fun with that too. But and it was a pretty good game. So I on the review, I believe I scored it the equivalent of a 7.5 out of 10. So definitely maybe one you may want to consider. So there you go. Let's see the Zen Pinball Paranormal table.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that's one you've been playing too.
I don't even bring up pinball anymore.
I bring it. I shouldn't because I bring it up every episode, but I think it's worth bringing up since it's a new table they released.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun one. I
think it's definitely the best Zen table yet.
Yeah, I actually get tired of how cheap the other ones are. Like Excalibur, we were just talking about that. I think Excalibur and V12 are the tables I hate the most. I don't know. They have that
V12 and Excalibur. You get
the far left.
The far left gutter alley there.
I mean, you get a flipper and stuff, but I'm like, it doesn't work half the time. And half the time you're like,
they got that little gap in the left galley where it's easy to get a cheap ass ball lost. And I just happen to have a sheer couple lucky good runs on that table. That's all.
Yeah, both of those, man. I was playing on I get a ball out and it would shoot the next ball I'd get a ball save, excuse me.
With that kickback.
And also not a kickback, just
the ball save.
Yeah, it was still saved and it would shoot it back and it'd just go straight down the left tube. And I'm like, seriously,
that happened to me a lot in Excalibur.
How cheap is that? The Knights of the Round table spinner that's in there, that just kills me every time. So
yeah, but I think that Paranormal table is my favorite table yet, man. There's so much. They've loaded that table up with mini games and a bottom upside down flipper underneath
even
the
top
main
of the
thing.
Machine, getting picked up with the UFO.
And that mini game, doing that.
The top of the haunted house.
Yeah.
The top. Yep.
Dude, that's so crazy. So much you can do in that game. I had a fantastic time with it. And I look forward to playing it more. So
if they can do anything with that, with Pinball FX 2, which comes out today, if the tables in Pinball FX 2 even compare to Paranormal,
I'm looking forward to
awesome,
it. Yeah. All right, moving on. I tried out Burn Zombie Burn, which is just kind of like a far better looking version of.
I disagree with you on that. I played it.
Really?
I played it.
Well, I to be fair, I only played it for 5 minutes.
I
I remember. I was gonna say it looked better than Zombie Apocalypse.
Yeah.
But not to knock Zombie Apocalypse. It has like, I think it's going for a more, not realistic, but more
like Buzz
modern looking
style is what it looked like to me. But no, me and Danielle played it actually, and going through it, I happened to mention to her that I'm like, yeah, Dale said this. He thought this looked better than Zombie, and she's like, no way.
I wouldn't say it plays better.
No, it looks.
Yeah.
I said that he thought it looked better, and I'm like, no. I'm like, I
just remember playing for a few minutes, and just from that few minutes, like I said, like 5 minutes, and just going, like, oh, okay, this looks. No, this looks pretty good. I think it looks better than Zombie Apocalypse, just from, I don't know, but like I said, I guess another thing too, another thing too, I guess it's been a while since we played Zombie Apocalypse, so maybe just at first impressions, I just thought it looked better, so.
I played it up to like the 40th or 50th wave of zombies, and Zombie Apocalypse has the dual, you shoot with the right stick, and that'll always win me over compared to, Zombie Apocalypse's style, like where you have to be like facing them.
So you think it plays better than Apocalypse?
No, I think Apocalypse plays better. I like the shooting with the right stick.
Okay. Yeah, I like that too.
I think Burn played like Age of Zombies, which was a mini for the PSP. Like it just reminded me a lot of that. I think that's actually coming to the iPad also pretty quick here. But play Age of Zombies on the mini. Like I think
Okay.
I'll have to have you come over and play that one of these days. But,
right on.
Yeah, something about it. I don't know. I'm not going to say it was a bad game, but it was just like I played a lot of games that remind me of it. Same with Zombie Apocalypse. I hear a lot of people say it reminds them of I made a game with zombies in it with better graphics because apparently it's the same exact game.
There's a lot of games like this.
It's like somebody saying, "Hey man, I like Smash TV. Let's put zombies in it."
Yep, that's what I thought of it. Yeah,
but no, like I said, I'll get more time in Burn Zombie Burn. I think we're gonna have to do some co-op with that. But
I guess speaking of co-op gaming, I guess I did a bit of that too. A couple days ago, Joey came by every few Saturdays or a couple Saturdays. He'll come by and we'll just play some co-op games. Lego Batman was a game of choice for a couple of them, and I'll talk about more on that on our next comic book show. But I guess the ones we played on this last Saturday were Commando 3: Wolf of the Battlefield. I finally just bought that. I just had it sitting. I played the trial version, liked it. I'm like, I'm just going to wait to see if it goes on a deal of the week. Never did. So I just.
What is this game?
Commando 3: Wolf of the Battlefield. It's a sequel to, believe it or not, an old school Capcom arcade game. It's on the Classics collection. So if you have any of those on PS2 or Xbox, called Mercs. Remember Mercs?
Oh yeah, actually I do. I didn't know that's what it was. Mercs is awesome.
Yeah, I loved Mercs, and I liked the sequel to, and I remember I liked the trial. And I was just like, I don't know if I want to pay $10 for it. I'll wait for it to go on deal of the week. Never did. So I was like, all right, screw it. I'll buy it. It's been 2 years. It's probably never going to get it, or if it will, who knows when it'll be. So I bought it, and me and him, we had a good time with it. We got up. There's 5 levels. We only got up to the 3rd stage because we tried it on. There's 4 stars of difficulty. We played it on the default for 3 stars. Yeah. And we only got to the 2nd level before we set up our lives to the most. And we ran out of lives on the 2nd level. We're like, all right, let's put it on easy. Okay. Thought we could beat it with the most lives.
Oh, it's on now. We're going to play it.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'll have to, if we have some time here, I could maybe show it to you real quick.
I've been Mercs probably 30 times.
It has Xbox Live co-op also. Oh. And it's fun. Plays just, I won't say just like it, but we had a fun time. Very reminiscent of gameplay, but they kind of upgraded it. Still 2D style gameplay, going up, down, moving your way up, just like Mercs, and you should share tanks and everything too. Oh my God, we had a fun time with it. And we only got up to the 3rd level on the easiest difficulty though. We thought we would be able to beat it since we kind of got a better feel for the levels, and but no, we only got up to the 3rd level, and it was a fun time. Yeah, I think you would like it, dude.
I learned something new today.
But I will say we had a better time with this next game we played too. I mean, we had a fun time with with Wolf of the Battlefield. It's listed under the W's with Wolf of the Battlefield, but we had a better time with Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light, 2-player co-op. They still didn't release the update for that promising online play.
Actually, today.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah. And there's free DLC that comes out today too if you have it.
Xbox Live. Nice.
PlayStation owners are going to have to wait, which is unfortunate, but I have the Xbox Live version. So
yeah, same here. Maybe we could do online co-op with that. We played a ton of that. We must have played for a good few hours, and we had a blast with it, dude. It's just like imagine Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance or the Champion Call to Arms games on PS2. Just like that. That's same style of 2D isometric gameplay like RPG style, action RPG, Diablo style, hack and slash, but with, obviously in a Tomb Raider environment with tombs, and one player is Lara Croft, the other player is this new Aztec character, your mythical Aztec style character. You're introduced to right at the beginning of the game. Player 2. I think his name's Totek, actually. I was going to say I don't remember his name, but I think his name's Totek. But they're like, dude, it's awesome. It's fun. Yeah. Lots of great co-op techniques. Lots of great mix of puzzle and action gameplay where, like, you're throwing, like, this Totek, you could throw, like, this spear that Laura can jump on, and Laura can cast, like, this grapple hook, which Totek can jump on, and very great use to make use of co-op gameplay. And then I hear, too, like, even if you don't have anyone to play the game with, they kind of tweak the game enough to make it more of a single-player experience, too. So it's very playable, single or co-op, so... we just had an awesome time with it, and I know that's one we'll probably end up beating on one of our next game nights here. So, yeah, definitely give that one a very high recommendation. It's $15, but it's worth it.
What isn't anymore, honestly?
Yeah.
I mean,
but like the high level of gameplay is it's. I'll actually go as far as say it seems like a steal at $15.
Especially if you're a Tomb Raider fan, because right now I'm like, that franchise is kind of hurting, so...
Yeah.
I mean, they need any support they can get at this point, but at the same point, like, put out quality games, people are going to buy them, so...
Did beat a couple games from... I know, like, this is alluding to what you said, buying new games and sticking with them, which I'm horrible at, but I guess same from Matt right there. I bought the New Vegas Collector's Edition, and I was like, I want to play this, but now it's just like, I can't.
Wait till the patch comes out.
Yeah, maybe that's probably will be a nice unintended side effect, but I'm like, there's a few DLC packs I haven't finished yet in Fallout 3. I have to beat that first. And so I actually went back to Fallout 3. I beat the core game, and I beat Broken Steel, but there were still like a few random side quests in Broken Steel I wanted to beat, and I didn't beat any of the other 4 DLC packs. So since our last recording, and since I bought New Vegas just this last week alone, I beat the last 3 random side quests in Broken Steel, and then I played through and beat Operation Anchorage also.
What'd you think of Operation Anchorage?
No, I liked it. It was very linear, very, it's a simulation. I mean, everyone knows probably who played Fallout 3 knows what Operation Anchorage is. It's a simulation. You're reliving, like, this whole, liberation of Alaska that when China took it. But, it's very different, but different's good with Fallout 3 because
at that point I was like, hey, this is way like a change of pace.
Yeah, appreciate the change of pace. Yeah. Very linear from point A to point B, but in this situation I liked it just because, like you said, change of pace, and it was easy to get through it. I got through it in probably like I think 4 or 5 hours. So I don't know about now saying 4 or 5 hours worth $10, but in this case, I think it's
like that afterwards. So.
And the Fallout 3 DLC went on Deal of the Week a couple of times, so I'm guessing you could probably find it on sale again pretty soon if you wait for it. That and let's see here. I also finally got around to beating this one game, maybe not sitting in my backlog, but very random scattered play for the past almost 3 years. I was looking at the time I got the achievements. Finally beat Mass Effect, the first Mass Effect, and it took me 28 hours altogether, according to my save data. But I finally beat it, and it took me 28 hours over 3 years.
I haven't even started yet, so I can't make fun of you.
I know, it's sad. And I actually really got back into it at the beginning of the year when Mass Effect 2 was about to come out. I was like, I should beat the first Mass Effect. And I threw it in, beat a couple missions, and then I just sat there for like 4 or 5 months. I threw it in again, beat another mission or 2, sat there for another 3 or 4 months until just a few days ago, beat the last couple of missions, and it was.
I guess you didn't realize you were like really close to the end of the game.
Yep.
Either.
Pretty much. I asked a coworker, I'm like, hey, I'm at this point. Am I close to being? He's like, yeah. I'm like, really? I'm going to go beat it. Actually, the first Mass Effect is, I know, like you said, The Force Unleashed, people said it had bugs and stuff, and I know Mass Effect was kind of criticized for having its fair amount of bugs and kind of had, like, some problems with figuring out the menus, and were a little cluttered. But I guess it didn't bother me. I guess, like I said, I put so much time in the game, I guess I got used to it, and I think I'll say it's definitely not as buggy as Fallout. But I had a great time with it. The last final act was awesome, leading up to the final battle with Saren there, and the choices you make to do this or do that. You don't even know who Sarah is.
Nope. I do now, though, once I start playing the game.
No, they introduced you right at the beginning of the game, your main villain, Sarah.
Oh, okay.
So
I waited until it was like a greatest hits.
Yeah. So. But no, great game, and I wanna at least get a good amount of time with Mass Effect 2, but I definitely know I won't beat it by the end of the year. But
did you pick that up?
Yeah, I picked up a few. It was on sale. GameStop had like a Game Days sale. It was on sale, brand new for $30.
I think it's like $17.99 used right now.
Well, I was like, well,
I'm glad I waited.
New for $30, that's not a bad deal because I know if you bought it new, you got a ton of free DLC with it. And I guess another reason why what inspired me to play it too was because like they had a deal of the week bonus on some Mass Effect 2 DLC for like $5 instead of $10 for a couple of pieces of DLC missions, which I hear are very worthwhile to play. So I was like, all right, and that's another reason what inspired me to beat it. So, and finally, last thing, Red Dead Redemption. Finally got to Blackwater, which is I guess the last key area of the game. And that game's not scattered play. I kind of got this thing with Red Dead Redemption. I think I said it before, but I'll play it once a week, and that once a week I'll do like 2 or 3 missions, and maybe some of the days I'll just do stranger missions, all side missions. So that is resulting in a very long playthrough. I don't know. It just feels right playing the game that way. I want to say I'm around the 20-hour mark.
Yeah, it took me about 28 hours.
Yeah, so I just hit Blackwater, and I did about 7 or 8 stranger missions too, and a lot of side stuff too.
But see, even after you finish the game, you can do all that stuff too. So I'd honestly say it's worth it just to finish off the game.
Yeah. So, yeah, just more Red Dead, and I'll probably download that Undead thing, and I will beat that game by the end of the year. Mark my words.
Yeah, Lego Rock Mandale.
Yes.
Last week made 6 months since we played it.
Yeah.
We're like literally like probably 4 hours away from completing the story.
We just gotta like do like the last main set list and the endless set list, and I think we're done with the game.
I think we just got burned out on the songs. Like, it's like the same 50 tracks.
Yeah.
Even with DLC, which is really limited for Lego.
And that NES music can only mean it's time for the Nintendo Retrospective redo.
Or Back to the Future Anniversary.
We're going back to the future with the NES Retrospective.
You can almost use Huey Lewis there, too.
Yes. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm using the Back to the Future... That's why I'm using the Back to the Future NES video game, or I guess Back to the Future 1 and 2 music in the background right now. For at least for post-edit, you'll be hearing it right now. We don't hear it right now as it is as we're recording. But that NES, I remember playing back. Oh, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, Back to the Future sucked.
Yes, the malt shop. Mm-hmm. I have distinct memories of the malt shop and not being able to do something. I don't remember what it was. I just remember playing it and I was like, "This game sucks."
Yes. I remember, one of the latest Angry Video Game Nerds, man. He did a feature on all the Back to the Future games and how shitty they were.
Yeah, it's an early story to get this out head on. Mm-hmm. And I remember my aunt had an NES. Like, I had an NES growing up. My aunt had one, but she only had 3 games. She had Tetris. No, she had 4. Tetris, Pipe Dreams, Jaws, and Back to the Future.
Oh, man.
So needless to say, I played Tetris a lot whenever I was at my aunt's.
Wow.
Oh, I hated it.
All right, well, that's an awesome NES memory. It's the 25th anniversary of the NES. Just this past week, they're celebrating it. There's no official concrete date. They nailed it down because the Nintendo they didn't have like systems. It just happened. Everyone knows it was kind of October. But they just showed up in stores when they got them, and like there's no like official street date for it because the video game.
This was before the internet.
Yes, before the internet, or it was in its very early infancy. Back in the bulletin board days, and
back when porn was in black and white.
Yes, and in binary code, ASCII art. But yeah, needless to say, I don't know if we want to spend for a recap in the NES history here, but just to give you a Cliff Notes version of it, video game market was almost dead. Atari ruined it, pretty much, and
E.T. ruined it.
E.T. ruined it, yeah. And video games were relegated to the bargain bins in stores. They were just barely limping on with many rehashed 2600 games and television games, ColecoVision games.
What later became described as shovelware.
Yeah, shovelware. You can find a game room today.
Yes.
But,
Chrome's going under. Why would they?
Yeah. Now we know why. Pay $3 for your 1989 Atari games.
I did. I bought one. I bought one game. I paid $5.
$3.
Is it $3?
Or $5 to play it on both your computer and on
Maybe I only pay $3. I
But-
block it out.
Yeah. But yeah, Nintendo came by, did test market launch in New York in 1985, and then later a test market launch in early 86 in LA, and then it did so well, did a full country launch, midway through 1986, and it launched with 13 games. I was looking on an awesome special on 1UP earlier this week on the NES launch. Very good article on oneup.com. Check that out. Covering the New York launch, and the NES launch was cool because I guess they said one of the cool things that made it stand out from other systems launch was they said how games on the Atari would have this awesome cover art of these realistic looking art of like a sports game, and then you threw it in and it's this crappy pixelated mess.
Nintendo had the actual game. Yep.
The actual in-game graphics on the cover art on those initial year worth of NES games, so you knew what you were getting.
Until Mega Man.
And of course, those first, it always seems like the first year of a new system comes out, you see the graphics and you're like, wow, this is such a big step up.
Yep.
And that's what you got with the NES people. It was a big seller, honesty right out of the gate.
Yeah. What was your first NES game?
Super Mario Brothers. My first memory of playing a NES.
Did you get the pack-in one, or did you get the...
Well, the way I remember it was I was probably 5 years old, so this was probably 1988 or 1989. My first memory of seeing a NES game was coming home probably from preschool or kindergarten, and my oldest sister, who was probably around 8 in high school or just getting out of high school at the time, had this machine hooked up.
Yep.
And I was like, what the hell is this? And we had a power pad out on the floor. So we had the one that came with the 3-game pack of Mario, Duck Hunt, and International Track and Field. And or World Class Track Meet, whatever the hell it was called. And
It was Track and Field. Yeah,
okay. And just playing what I later found out to be Super Mario Brothers, and I was just watching in amazement. I'm like, what is this thing? And little did I know an obsession was born. And that was my first memory of playing it. And later I got to play, Super Mario Brothers. That was the first game, and I was hooked. What was your first Nintendo memory? First game?
Mine, I think it was probably around '88. I got it for Christmas actually, but I got the Duck Hunt Mario combo with the light gun.
Okay.
So I never got the power pad. I still won't ever get it. I collect accessories too. I'm I still won't.
We still have the power pad. It's in my mom's closet.
Oh. No, the power glove, any of that kind of stuff. I'm it doesn't work. The light gun worked, and I was fine with that. So
I love Duck Hunt. Played a shitload of Duck Hunt.
Yeah.
Even the
always
disc
cheat.
The disc clay shooting was awesome.
just put the gun up to the TV.
It's cheating, Matt. Yeah, I did do that a lot. What can I say?
I think we talked about this, but have you finished Super Mario Brothers? Can we discuss this? I can't remember if we ever did this on a show or if it was just you and me talking. But
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers was the first game I have ever beaten. Dude, that was a great thing about Super Mario Brothers. There's just so many secrets to find out, so many secrets to discover, and
you feel like king shit when you find something.
Yeah.
You're a little kid. You're like, nobody else knows about this.
no one knows about this extra 1-up block, or how to ease your way into getting all those extra lives on those little pyramid structures leading up to the flagpole when the turtles come down on them.
Or if you're like me, last year I finally beat it. I didn't know.
You didn't beat Super Mario Brothers until
last year.
Wow.
Yep, I could not figure out the last castle there.
Oh yeah, that was what held me back too. I mean, it was no walk in the park for me. I've seen other people who do it, but it took me. I think
it's easy. You just do this.
I think it took me what seemed to 3 or 4 years to beat Super Mario Brothers because it was the only game we owned for the longest time, and I was like, how do I get that last stage? And it took me forever to get to the last stage too because a lot of times those early 8-1, 8-2, 8-3 levels, they would be easy life killers.
Like the one brick standing points.
Very precision jumps, and those would get me a lot too. And the times I would make it to 8-4, I just get hung up on that level.
You know what the sad thing is?
Remembering which way to hit the warp pipes.
Super Mario Brothers has better control than some modern games do.
A Little Big Planet. Sorry, it's true.
Oh man, floaty controls.
Yes, floaty controls. Yeah. Gosh, and I still go back to Super Mario Brothers. Still, I know just a couple times earlier this year I went back to it, not the NES version, but the Mario All Stars version.
Yeah, that's the one I go back to. Yeah.
There was a couple of days after work where a couple of coworkers still play their Super Nintendo and Nintendo regularly, and we were playing Mario World and Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3, and drinking some beers. It's becoming kind of like a couple times a year tradition for us. But gosh, man, yeah, so many great memories from the original Super Mario Brothers.
I used to have a ton of games when I was a kid. Like I remember, like I really like. It was like either Ninja Turtles or Nintendo. That's what I was into for probably like 5 to 10. I'd say.
I guess being a young, naive kid, our family would always rent games all the time. Every weekend, I think my mom would just take us to the local mom pop video store. I think it was called Movie Time.
Yep, Movie Time Video. Yep.
And I think it was $1 Nintendo rentals for a day or two. And
they had the pegs too, didn't they? Like we had to take that little plastic piece off the hook to rent a game. I missed that.
I think you had the free popcorn there too.
See, you need to learn a secret that I had when I was a kid is if you go to secondhand stores, like we had the Salvation Army stores, like people would always be like, oh, I don't want this thing anymore, and they sell it secondhand. Well, secondhand stores didn't know what they were dealing with, so I'd get like Nintendo games back then for like $1 or $2. So I get like secondhand stores basically started the used game market more or less. Like,
yep.
Thrift
shops.
Yeah, like thrift shops. Seriously, like you could still go into thrift shops and like
find
like 360 games for like $2 because like the people running it don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
not to insult them, but I mean,
great way to take advantage.
Well, when you're like a kid, it was a good deal because my grandma and stuff would go like junk store shopping and stuff like that. And Atari games were always just like 50 cents or $1. And so when Nintendo came out, they really didn't know what to like. I guess they didn't have a value associated with them yet. Mm-hmm. But I used to get Nintendo games for like $1 or $2 or $5. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's when they were brand new. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey man, I think I had like probably like 30 or 40 NES games as a kid.
Yeah.
Which is
unfortunately for me, I guess not unfortunately. I look back, I have great memories looking back on it, but like I said, being young and naive, I didn't know you could buy games for the Nintendo.
Just rent.
Yeah, you could just rent because my mom would always take me to rent, and like I guess going to the stores with her, maybe she would purposely make sure I would get nowhere near the video game
like
department.
Blinders.
Yeah, like blinders until I was like, I can't remember. Probably until I was like a few years after owning the NES. I think she successfully did that. Like I just didn't know you could buy. I thought you could only rent games. Or then I think eventually, like a couple years ago, I went to a friend's house who had other. I'm like, how did you get all these other games? Did you steal them from the video store? And just being completely naive to that fact, I felt stupid about it, of course. But yeah, I remember the first game got for the Nintendo finally after I was nagging my parents, let's give me any Nintendo game. Oh, Nintendo's great. Nintendo's awesome. And I remember the first game my parents bought for me for the Nintendo was a game called XEXYZ. I don't know if that's how if you pronounce it like that or if it's pronounced like ZZs or what, but I always called it XEXYZ as a kid.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
And it's just a basic little side-scroller thing. I think I got stuck a few levels in, and it wasn't even that great of a game, but I think later on I realized, I'm like, and I think later we got like other games too, like Dash Galaxy and Wall Street Kid, like some of the early games my parents bought me. So I remember Wall Street Kid I played the shit out of and actually liked. I'm like, wow. And it was like, wait, all that there is to Wall Street Kid is just buying stocks, buying low, selling high. But for some reason I loved it because you'd save up enough money to buy your family a yacht and like a castle. Sexy castle.
Yes. Oh, Sukadin.
And except the game had a shitty ass password system because it had like literally 40 character passwords because it's dealing with such intricate stats and stuff. It took a while to save all that stuff, so they did it through crappy ass passwords. Yeah, those are some of the early games I bought, and I was just happy to have a new NES game to own. Yep. And then later on, I probably came to the realization that these are probably games my mom and dad bought out of the $5 bargain bin because they weren't your franchise Nintendo games.
It didn't matter, though, man.
Yeah, but as a little kid, you didn't care. You played that game to death.
Jesus, yeah. I remember.
What were some of the first games you remember getting?
Some of them still stick with me, like Fantasy Zone.
Yeah.
Which I think that's on like the Sonic Ultimate Collection and stuff like that. They re-released that a couple times. Like I had that on the NES, Othello on the NES. Mm-hmm. Which Othello, like I never got it as like a little kid, but like as I grew older, I like realized how to do it, and I actually got really awesome at that. But Demon Sword. Gyrus, the Turtles game. Which we always talk about the Turtles games. Like, I never owned any of them because I hated the first one so much.
Yeah, the first one was a pile of shit.
But
I talked to friends recently, actually, who said they loved it. They loved how crappy it was.
Oh no, I hate it, man. I hate the first one. I'll always hate the first one. But God, I didn't think other like Star Soldier, which I actually went on a mission to try to buy a lot of the games I used to have, like Caveman games. Mm-hmm. Caveman games is one of those things that is a really underrated classic.
I think I remember Caveman. It's like your Caveman was like the Olympics, but for Caveman. Yep, I remember that.
You have to drag women and like, yep. I'm not kidding. Oh, that's good stuff there. They don't make them like that.
Traditional caveman style.
Club them over the head.
Yeah, I remember playing that game.
Oh God, man, I had a ton of NES games. But
how about they're
X-Men? I did have Uncanny X-Men as a kid.
Oh, that game was awful.
You know, I was so pissed. Like, I think I got X-Men later on. Like, I got around like into comic books. Like when I was, well, the Turtles got me into comics, but I got into X-Men comics when I was 10. I mean, besides probably like 93 around there. But X-Men had come out. God, was it 91, 92, 90, somewhere around there? But I was like, oh, X-Men comics, X-Men game. This has got to be good. Yeah, I don't blame Nintendo for that. That was all LJN. But oh my God, dude, that soured my memory of the NES. But like California games.
Oh, yeah, I remember California games. Hacky Sack.
Contra, man.
Hacky Sack, man.
Contra.
Yeah,
Contra. Super Contra? Like, I played
Contra Force? No.
No, I played the shit out of Super Contra. Like, Bubble Bobble.
No,
like,
Matt. Super C.
Super Contra. Russian Attack, which is still hard, but...
Yeah,
Bubble Bobble.
We'll get to more games here in a bit, but, I want to kind of take this time to see what, like, say some of your, favorite Nintendo accessories were. We kind of already brushed over a couple of the crappy-ass Power Pad. The Nintendo Zapper. Were there any other Zapper games you played besides Duck Hunt?
No.
I played a fair amount of Hogan's Alley.
No, I remember there were other games, but I never played any other ones.
I remember quite a bit of Hogan's Alley. I rented that one day, played a lot of that, liked it. I'm like, ooh, we could shoot beer bottles. And I never.
This is way better than Ducks.
I thought for the longest time that those were the only two Zapper games, but I think there was like 20 of them or something like that. But the Power Glove, of course.
Yeah. Other than it being in Freddy's Dead.
Yeah. The Wizard made that. That movie made the Power Glove seem like the most badass accessory ever.
That's the thing, is like Nintendo, like we're all used to Nintendo now. But like back then, like in the early '90s, man, that had such an impact on culture. Like, like I said, like the Wizard had it was like an hour and a half long commercial.
They used a movie to be like the first place you saw where a game was shown, a freaking movie.
Yeah.
To showcase Super Mario Brothers 3, and you didn't know
then
that.
You saw Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, you didn't even know that going into the movie. It was just like a bonus at the end.
Super Mario Brothers, the movie with Bob Hoskins.
But my main question was, how did that girl know where to use the warp whistle or whatever for when she well, this is a brand new game no one ever played before.
I've still never seen the Wizard, Dale.
I got it right there, Matt.
And everybody listening shudders.
You got
I've seen parts of it, but I've never watched
California.
I know. 50,000. I know that.
We're gonna watch
but Freddy's Dead, man. Come on. You're playing with power. That's great stuff.
Yes, we gotta watch it. And speaking of power, Nintendo Power.
There you go,
dude. We're looking over one of the. We're kind of flipping through an issue here. I had full of Nintendo, the 4-player extra strategy guide edition of Nintendo Power.
Still useful today.
Nintendo Power is a shit. I don't know. I know everyone. It took me a while to get. I probably got into it a little later, but I ended up buying a lot of back issues and just loved flipping through them later on. And I still have no idea. I guess why maps are useful. I guess everyone loved the maps they printed in there.
Well, I mean, at the time, and like with no internet, I mean, really, other than hotlines.
Yeah.
We need to call in like a tip line for like was it a couple bucks a minute.
Yeah. Fuck
and I was
that.
like, no way. They just buy a magazine.
Help me, Nintendo Game Counselor.
One thing I remember.
You're my friend.
The NES era, and I'd even go as far as to say the Super NES era, like, had the best licensed games.
Yeah,
for any generation.
SNES did. Nintendo, not so much. Thanks, LJN.
Well, no, Nintendo did have a lot of good licensed games.
Some.
Like the Turtles, the Disney games.
But I'd say...
There were a lot of bad ones,
The bad games far outweighed the good.
Oh, I like my DuckTales, Darkwing
Duck. Yeah,
Duck.
DuckTales was definitely
G.I.
good.
Joe.
Yeah.
My Little Pony. No. Just kidding.
Yonoid.
We have the Barbie game. My wife has played it. We figured it out.
And she actually likes it, I bet.
Oh, yes. I have it on Super, and I think Genesis, I'm not sure.
You got all of them.
Yeah. We made a compromise. I got some games, she got some games.
How about those crappy LJN licensed games, though?
Well, Spider-Man Revenge of the Sinister Six wasn't that bad. That's the one you play as, like, Ninja Spider-Man.
Was that the one where we got stuck in that spot? Like, there's, like, one spot you got to, and if you literally hop down in there...
Oh, yeah,
you literally could not jump out of there after being that banana guy. It was a banana dude, right?
I don't remember.
He looked like a banana.
Played so many games in this past year. It's been, like, 2 years since we played that.
We did
almost 2 years, going on February. It'd be the great blizzard of 08.
Yes, yeah. About a year and a half.
Year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, we just ended up playing awesome Nintendo games all day.
Yep. It's a little bit of PlayStation, Genesis.
Yep. Oh, yeah, good.
That was like 3 days, actually.
Yeah, that was a great time.
That needs to happen again.
It needs to happen again.
That's one of the benefits of living up north.
You need to move to Fargo for a week, Matt, so I can go down there and be
pick the worst weather of the year. I walk like 7 blocks to get pizza. With 3 pairs of pants on.
Yes. In like 20 below weather. With like 50 below wind chill.
Ran out of candy and pizza.
Guy offered us a ride. We're like, no.
We got this.
We got this.
Carrying like 70 pounds of soda on my back.
We're like, we just passed up the only cool dude in Fargo.
Off topic. Oh well.
Good times. But no,
this is about memories.
Yes,
here,
memories.
So
memories associated with a Nintendo from 2009.
Yes.
But no, other crappy LGN games, X-Men, like we said, horrible. Wolverine, horrible. Back to the Future 1 and 2. Oh, man. I think I never got past the first level in that game. I just remember if you touched anything in that game, you're due to this weird-ass crawling animation, and he died. I was like, this game
I just remember the malt shop. That's all I remember.
And that horrible music you heard.
I think I've blocked most of it out.
Was it Fester's Quest?
Fester's Quest, yep.
Nightmare on Elm Street, was it? Or Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th I have. I don't even know if I got close to finishing that. I don't remember, but I played it for long enough that yeah.
Of course, the horrible trilogy of Simpsons games.
I think I have 2 of them.
I guess you could say there was even 4 maybe with the Krusty's Funhouse that wasn't so good.
I think it's Bart versus Radioactive Man gave me a nosebleed when I played it.
It's Bart. I think it's Bart meets Radioactive.
Is that what it is?
Man.
I don't know. But I gave me a nosebleed. I remember playing it.
I remember there was Bart versus the Space Mutants, Bart versus the World, and I think...
versus the World is just mini games. It's terrible.
I remember not liking Space Mutants and versus the World, and I think...
Radioactive Man was, yeah.
Yeah, Funhouse, I think, was just okay.
Yeah, Radioactive Man, like, dude, I was playing it, sit on my bed playing, and I must have been too close to the TV or something, but my nose just started bleeding while I was playing it. It's one of the 2 times it's happened while playing games is Radioactive Man and then Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
It's the 2 times I've gotten a nosebleed from playing games.
I'll say another crappy Nintendo moment for me. It wasn't anything to do with the nosebleeds, but a lot of headaches and frustrations was... Nintendo cartridges were like the first games to have where you could save your game onto the cartridge, not by password, but with battery-backed memory.
Like Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda was the very first one, actually. And though, make sure you read the back of the label. There's a caveat to it, just due to it being in its infancy of its technology. After you saved, when you turn off the game, you had to make sure to hold the reset button when turning the power off, or else you lose your save data. I don't know if you remember that or not, but let me tell you this. I had many hard lessons learned playing Maniac Mansion. I lost my save data for that game, I think twice, and I think I got to the same point where I was like, I must have seemed like 5, 6, 7 hours into the game. And I love Maniac Mansion. I played the hell out of that game. One of the few times like a adventure point-and-click game made it on the Nintendo, and had a pretty good interface too. And but unfortunately, that stupid save data. If you got careless turning off your Nintendo with a battery save game, it was so easy to lose it.
So what do you do if it froze?
I think I did have freezes before. I don't think it froze then. I think still you just made sure to hold reset and turn it off.
Because that's what happened to me with Zelda. Like I last year I went through and I tried to play Adventures of Zelda. For the first time I was just like, I'm going to beat this game. I want to beat at least one Zelda game in my life.
See,
still have.
People who play today on Virtual Console and other means have save states now they can use to take advantage of these games.
Cheating.
Yeah, you're cheating.
Yes.
You and your save states are so spoiled.
Bitter. We're so bitter.
Yeah, we're so bitter. All right. For better memories, I was just thinking. I got a list of a bunch of Nintendo games I remember playing. I know I probably left out a bunch too when we saw that montage earlier here.
Oh yeah.
But I just figured we'd just go back and forth, just sharing memories of Nintendo games we played here until...
I should have wrote down what I got, actually, because I think we both have a pretty decent collection of NES games.
Yeah, I think I got like 30 to 40 some.
Oh, I think I'm in like... I might be close to
I know you got a lot
70,
more, yeah. But, just run down here, and whatever ones you got come to mind, I figure we can just rotate back and forth here, so... I know, I'm guessing a lot of these we both played, but...
Yeah.
I will start off by saying one of the games I'm most proud to track down at MGC is Earthbound Zero.
Nice.
Which is the unreleased version of Mother, as it's known in Japan, for the North America. It actually, this isn't a fan translation. Nintendo actually finalized the game. They had an English translation ready, but by that point it was like late '93, early '94. Barely any. The last few Nintendo games were just trickling out, and Nintendo didn't want to risk it. Those wimps. So they never released it. I guess someone many years later had the file for it, and they leaked it onto the internet to many fans their pleasure. So, and I guess like other companies took their time to bootleg it onto a cartridge for everyone to buy, and I happened to be somewhere I saw had it, and I bought it. That is not illegal. The game's fun, though, by the way.
You just totally admitted to buying a bootleg game cartridge.
It's not my crime. It's the people who sold it, their crime.
You just bought stolen merchandise, still.
Hey, Nintendo didn't release it, so how could it be stolen? Fuck you, Nintendo. You could have made money.
I just bought the stolen car. Then knock on the door in the background.
Hi. All right, Matt, what's another one of yours?
Oh, God. I don't even know where to start. 3D World Runner.
Oh, that's the first 3D, one of the first 3D NES games.
It's a Square game, too.
Square,
well. Yep. And if you press the select button, you have 3D glasses, it gives you a headache. That's what it does. I showed you this game. I actually really like this game. I remember I never owned it as a kid, but I rented it all the time, and I had a lot of fun with it. But 3D World Runner's the shit, so that's good stuff.
I'll say Metroid. That's the one I got next. You ever play the original Metroid?
I have. I think we've talked about Metroid in past shows. I'm not a huge fan of it, but
the first Metroid. I guess it's been such a long time since I went back to it. But I remember that game scared me as a little kid, just because of I think it was the doors. I think you shot the way the door. I think the way they were animated kind of freaked me out as a kid. Shamefully, many years later, the game is kind of, I guess, as a little kid, this little creepy vibe. And I think too, it was one of the first games where you backtrack. And I think too that the enemies actually respawn when you backtrack, much like they do in Metroid games today. But as a little kid, I'm just like, how these enemies keep coming back? I kill them. What's going on? And I think damn you, Nintendo. Metroid freaked me out when I was like 6 or 7.
I was a huge fan of Donkey Kong. I had Donkey Kong Classics, the combo of Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. And I played the crap out of that.
Yep.
I actually want to track that down. I really like that game.
I don't know if I have the NES version. I maybe have played it, but I got the 2600 version of Donkey Kong.
I bought it on Virtual Console, and that's my only Wii game I've beaten this year. Because I'm counting it.
There you go. What was it? That one's like 4 levels, right?
Yes.
Oh, cheap bastard.
I think it's 3 levels.
Oh, was it 3? Okay.
But I beat it like 3 times through, so...
Okay. Right, there you go.
I can count it.
You can count it 3 times.
No, I won't. Counted it once. It took me like 10 minutes. Yeah. Dude, I love Donkey Kong, though.
Yeah.
The NES version, I think, is the definitive version outside of the arcade. I mean, the arcade, obviously, is but I mean, for home console, so...
All right. Let's see. Your next one I got here is... now, I guess I'll just lump them all into one here. The wrestling games on Nintendo. I actually talk about this in detail. You can look through our archives and our appendix of retrospectives. The wrestling video game retrospective. We talk about all the NES wrestling games. But just for quick cliff notes of them, my favorite ones on the Nintendo were WWF WrestleMania Challenge. and WCW Wrestling.
Okay, I got to ask, which one is the one that you play as Honky Tonk Man, and when you stomped, the notes came out?
The power-ups in the background when you
is
picked
that the
up.
One?
That's just plain old WWF WrestleMania. That was the first WWF game on the Nintendo.
I remember I played the crap out of that at friends' houses, and I liked that game a lot.
It only had a 5-guy roster.
I don't care. When you stomped and you were a Honky Tonk Man, music notes came out.
Yep.
When I was a little kid, that was exciting.
Yes.
If he did that in real life, I'd probably shit my pants. Just stomping music notes show up.
Yeah.
Speaking of shitting my pants, there's a great diarrhea story coming up later in the show.
Oh, shit. No pun intended.
No. That was intended, Dale.
No, actually, that wasn't. I just realized it when I said it. Okay, but...
Segue.
Yes. No, WrestleMania Challenge was a lot better. You actually had a 10-character roster. No, 11-character roster. There's the 11th bonus character is a character named Yourself. I'm not kidding. And I guess I like that one because I remember the wrestlers' theme music would play in the background when you wrestle, and especially in tag matches, the music would change when you tag in another wrestler.
That's awesome, actually.
And it had like Survivor Series mode, but it was only 3-on-3, not your traditional 5-on-5 or 4-on-4.
And for the NES, that's awesome.
That is awesome and in depth. And you could do a tag team championship career mode with your buddy, and I remember me and my brother would do that a lot. And very full featured, very cool. WCW wrestling was cool because they actually had 12 wrestlers, the biggest of all the other ones. And they had guys like Sting and Lex Luger, the Road Warriors, Rick Steiner, Ricky Steamboat, and like the animation's kind of crude. Like some of the wrestlers don't look that good, and but like you can actually customize your move lists. Like there's like a list of 20 moves, and you can choose 4 of them, like because you press like A in a direction and do a different move. And so you could customize your moves for each wrestler. And it was like the first wrestling game I can remember to do where you could do finishing moves, because once you weakened your wrestler to a certain state, you could get them weakened, and then the screen would flash red for a few moments, just letting you give your friend a moment to gather themselves to know that, hey, you're about to get smashed with their finishing move. And like they're pretty authentic with their finishing moves too. Like I know Sting had the Scorpion Deathlock, and I think Lex Luger had the running power arm. And it was awesome. And I played the shit out of that. I love WCW wrestling. And I guess Tecmo wrestling is pretty good too also, because like other Tecmo games of the time, I'm sure we'll touch on later, they had the in-game little cinematics. So like you do the big spin, you do the big twirling big spin move, and they showed a cinematic of it. And they even had an announcer on the bottom giving us running text play-by-play commentary, and which is pretty revolutionary for the time. And I was just like, yeah, this is awesome. And yeah, those are the good ones. Crappy Nintendo wrestling games, though, are... I'd be remiss if I wouldn't say pro wrestling on the Nintendo. I think you've had to have played that, right, Matt?
That's just the actual Nintendo brand.
Yep, Nintendo brand. Starman, King Kong Corn. Good stuff. And you actually had a referee in the ring, too. And the moves were just good old traditional fun wrestling. Yes. And, avoid tag team wrestling. That game is very, very, very horrible. And, WWF Steel Cage Challenge, another extremely...
I played that one.
Yeah, that one was horrible.
I liked it when I was a kid, but I haven't played it since. So
I remember going back to it. I remember the first fact, and I'm like, ooh, Steel Cage, but that game plays like crap. It's horrible. WrestleMania, unfortunately, isn't that good going back to it later on.
Yes, it is.
King of the Ring is...
Notes from his feet.
King of the Ring is okay, but there's really nothing too special about it. So that's your Nintendo wrestling game rundown. Matt, back to you.
Battletoads.
Oh... Which one?
Just Battletoads. It doesn't matter. Are you talking Battletoads or Battletoads Double Dragon?
I think there's like 3 Battletoads games.
I have them all.
Okay.
There's Battletoads for the NES, and then there's Battletoads Double Dragon, which I think came out on the NES and Super NES.
Okay.
And then I think it's Battletoads and Battle Maniacs, and that's on the SNES.
Okay.
But either one, man. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, I got fond memories. Like, oh, Battletoads, yeah. Dude, I own every version of Battletoads, and I suck at every version of Battletoads. Like, it's fun for a little while, like, nostalgic and stuff like that, like when you're throwing in, but after a while you're like, this is still, like, way too tough. Like,
the game is hard to sell. That's kind of an odd crossover, too, Battletoads and Double Dragon. I guess, like, they're both kind of beat-em-ups, but Battletoads has always been just legendarily famous for being harder than hell.
I saw there's a video up.
I remember just a few years ago we tried going back to the SNES Battletoads in Battle Maniacs, and that game was just damn near
brutal,
unplayable.
But
and that's Rare who made that too, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, they made all the Battletoads. And I'm surprised they haven't brought it back, to tell you the truth.
I don't want them to. I'll punch them in the nuts. I don't. As a collective unit, I will go there and punch them in the balls.
You'll go, oh, man.
Unless it's easier.
Oh, man. Yeah, dude, yeah. Battletoads
This game needs to be Dale-friendly.
Yeah, Battletoads is not... I remember when all right, Battletoads, yeah.
It's like all exciting, and then you put it in
why are these why are parts of the floor crumbling behind me with like a quarter of a second notice?
Was it like Wart, Zit, and what was the other ones?
I can't remember the other one.
You're weird.
But I remember, pretty much, if you wanted to be Battletoads, you pretty much had to remember that level, like remember it.
Oh, yeah, no, the
so many traps and
the
obstacles.
Speed bike level, that was the level.
And there's friendly fire too on those games.
Yep.
Oh,
friendly fire like destroys any game.
Yep. Let's see here. How about ice hockey?
I never played it.
Oh, dude, ice hockey. Nintendo sports games were fun games for everybody. Anyone could pick up and play them. Still one of my favorite all-time hockey games today, just because how just easy it was to pick up and play. You can actually get into fights in there. And there was a penalty box too, where player and like the fights were fun because it wasn't like as enhanced as Blades of Steel was. Blades of Steel was like almost a straight up fighting game you can do in there and have life bars and everything. But you know those games definitely have the better fights. But here on ice hockey on the Nintendo early gen NES game, it was like you guys would kind of like tussle. There was like a check button, and then if you check for like longer than like 3 seconds straight, like all the hockey players got in there, and they all got in this big like comic book style animation. And then eventually a ref would drag one random guy out, and you'd be sitting in the penalty box. Another team would have a power play advantage, and eventually, if you get tied, when overtime you get into a shootout, and if it was still a tie, you go into another period with no goalies, and that game was crazy awesome. And that's another one I threw in earlier this year too, so it still holds up, still fun to play.
It's only one sports game for me, Dale. The only sports game I've ever owned on the NES.
Was it Double Dribble?
No. Andre Agassi, Steffi Graf, tennis. I don't know if that's the name of it, but I know that their names were attached to the beginning. But I had that game, and I played the shit out of it.
Love tennis.
Tennis on the NES. Like
I like good old-fashioned tennis with Mario as a ref.
Like I grew up like playing like tennis games are one of the few sports like tennis and golf games, like not traditional golf, but like Mario Golf or Hot Shots Golf. Hot Shots Golf will make you lose friends, is what I learned. Like I had a friend of mine and played Hot Shots Golf all the time, and we'd always mess with each other when we were going to the shots. It's kind of like you don't know Jack.
Yeah.
They could always screw the other player.
Yeah.
And then when I realized that if me and another friend are like later on in life, I'm like, if I'm playing like Wheel of Fortune with somebody and I hit their controller and it buzzes them in, it screws them over and it's hilarious.
Yep.
But yeah,
I'll say Double Dribble's cool. Played the crap out of Double Dribble.
Arch Rivals.
Arch Rivals was another good basketball game that beat the shit out of everyone.
I say I waited for NBA Jam. Like Arch Rivals kind of won me over, but NBA Jam was like the one that like totally like I was still one of the few basketball games I'll play.
Let's see here. I got next here Tetris, Nintendo Tetris, and Tengen Tetris.
Tengen.
I still own Tengen Tetris. It's a collectible item. I found it at
Did you?
It is. Premier Video had it for $2.
How much is it worth?
I think it's like
that's the one my aunt had.
I don't remember now, but I think it. One time looking, I want to say anywhere from like $40 to $50.
Because I had the Tengen Fantasy Zone. Because I remember like Tengen, I always hated the cartridge. So I was like, man, this thing looks weird, and it doesn't match any of my other NES games.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the Tengen cartridges were all black ones and looked quite different. But I like the Tengen Tetris was actually superior to the Nintendo brand one. The Nintendo brand one was cool. But the bad thing about it was single player. The Tengen version, their Nintendo's Game Boy version was 2-player. It was far more awesome. But like the Tengen version had 2-player mode versus and a cooperative 2-player mode where both players are dropping blocks at the same time. It had like it was a port of the arcade version, which had the far more awesome like Soviet/Russian culture graphics in the background and stuff. So
yeah, that's the one I grew up playing, I guess. So if you bring that up, you got to bring up Dr. Mario.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, Dr. Mario.
Oh yeah, Dr. Mario's pretty good stuff. I got in the like really late. Like I actually don't think I played Dr. Mario until like the late '90s. But Dr. Mario's the stuff, man. That's good stuff. What?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay? Next up here, the Ikari Warriors trilogy or Ikari Warriors, however the hell you want to pronounce it. I played the crap out of Ikari Warriors one. I remember it was one of the first games my dad bought for the Nintendo also, and I played it again earlier this year, and just like I remember, they still are. The levels are longer than hell.
See, I played a Guerrilla War, which I guess I threw that in once, and I remember you said that hey, this is just like Ikari Warriors. Mm-hmm. So I guess when you had that one, I guess I had Guerrilla War. But they're really similar in gameplay from what I know. So
I was gonna say I'm looking on some Tetris auctions right now. The buy it now prices are all over the board, but there's one with 5 bids, and the auction ends in a day, and it's going for like $21. So
that's not bad for an NES game, though.
But
Bubble Bobble 2 I've seen for like 140 at used stores, so I'm like, no. Same with DuckTales 2, that's really rare, I guess. But
oh, yeah, that's right, yeah, they did that. Yeah, the sequel's kind of hard to hunt down. But, yeah, Ikari Warriors, yeah, the levels are like 30, 40 minutes long, and I remember thinking when I was playing it, I didn't even, it was before, you had to go to magazines for codes or whatever, but I was like, there's no way you could beat this game with 3 lives, and like, it could never get past the first level for the longest time, because you only have 3 lives, and it's easy to die, and it takes like literally 30 minutes to level. I'm like, there's gotta be a code. So like, while I was waiting for my brother to die, and I was out of lives, I just pressed random buttons, and sure enough, you had guys pop up. Everyone says a Konami code's always the code they first remember for the NES, and for me, it was Ikari Warriors 1 code, which was ABBA. Still works. Whenever you're all out of lives, and it even works in single player. You press 8, you have like a 5-second window to enter it before you see the game over screen. Hit ABBA, get another 3 guys.
Nice.
And Ikari Warriors 2 and 3, I eventually hunted those down a couple years ago. Got around to playing them. They're good, but Ikari Warriors 1 is still the best.
Holds a special place in Dale's heart.
Yes. Back to you.
I guess I could throw my diarrhea story real quick.
All right, what's your
diarrhea? It's not
diarrhea
me with
story?
diarrhea.
Oh.
That's what's odd. So, as a normal kid, everybody had footy pajamas when they were a kid. So I don't know if you had footy pajamas, like the one-piece pajamas with the plastic feet or whatever it is they're made out of that were really uncomfortable. And my parents gave me a gift of bright red ones, like the brightest red you could possibly get. And I wore it probably till an age that I probably shouldn't have, but I still wore it because I love my footy pajamas. But I remember I was living in this one apartment, and my NES was in the basement. And one day I was playing, and I had a friend over, and I can't remember what game we were playing, but we were playing a game, and I leaned back on the floor. Because you're a kid, you're all over the place, laying on your side, laying on your stomach, laying on your back, whatever, playing the games. Well, I sat back up, and my friend's like, dude, you got crap all over your back. And I guess at some point during the gameplay, my cat had diarrhea, and laid it all over the floor. And playing a game as a little kid, I was probably 7 or 8, and I had no idea. And I laid down in it. And I guess when I sat back up, I just had this huge mess of diarrhea, cat diarrhea all over my back. But it was also the day I lost my footy pajamas. Really, really kind of tore up about it. This goes to say a lot, NES made me not realize that I laid down in diarrhea.
Make sure to be aware of your surroundings.
Yes.
Especially if you have pets.
Where do you go after that?
We go to Super Dodgeball.
But I have put footy pajamas now, though.
Oh, okay. Well, there you
I don't
go.
know if you remember that Target started selling adult footy pajamas.
Oh, yeah.
At rocket ships.
Now for all ages.
Yes.
Just like Super Dodgeball.
Don't wear them unless you have a good physique, because they're really not flattering.
Dude, Super Dodgeball is awesome, man.
Hey, we got a 4-player guide for it.
That's right. I don't think it was in the 4-player
list,
in there. Though. Oh, okay.
I thought it was, at least.
I'll look at my table of contents again.
I could have
No, the Super Spike V-Ball.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Super Spike V-Ball. Never played that one, but Super Dodgeball is awesome, and it still holds up. Though it's one of those NES games that suffers from horribly bad flicker. You know what I'm talking about. Anyone who plays NES game knows what I'm talking about. If a large number of NES games have this problem, you just accepted it for the time that almost every single NES game had horrible,
for a good example,
horrible graphical flicker going on, and it can sometimes get to the unplayable state with that flicker, but it's still cool. You traveled all the countries going through their dodgeball teams, and Beanball mode was an awesome free-for-all playground version of dodgeball, and you just beat the crap out of little kids throwing dodgeballs at them. And when they die, they turn into little dodgeball angels floating up in dodgeball heaven with Ben Stiller.
That's kind of creepy. It's better than Robot Heaven with Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, to throw a transformer.
That's more like Robot Hell, Matt.
Why are humans in Robot Heaven?
Back to you.
Oh, what?
Back to you.
Ah, God, what can I bring up? I'm not going to talk about Turtles or comic book games because I've covered so many of those over the years.
Yeah, we've on the NES comic book special.
Those,
we just safe to say get Turtles 2 and 3.
God, Double Dragon. Double Dragon's another throwback to the
they have the trilogy. If I
remember,
remember, I think the first one wasn't 2-player; it was Criminal.
There's a ton of those games like Shinobi, Ninja Gaiden. There's a ton of good franchises that came out of that era, like Castlevania. I mean, God, there's so many. I
remember playing. Those are the only times I played Castlevania games. I have vague memories of them. I just remember liking them, renting them a couple times, and liking them, just whipping the shit out of everything.
God, what other big franchises came out of?
Here's another era? Excite Bike.
Excite Bike, yes.
Love Excite Bike. Just straight up fun motorcycle racing, and I
like it better as a kid than I do now.
Even had a track editor too. And that game came out I think 86, 87. Had the old school NES labeling.
Kung Fu.
Yi Kung Fu.
I hated Kung Fu.
ER Kung Fu.
I had a Kung Fu on the Nintendo Kung Fu. I had that, and I was like, I don't know what to do at the time. I just bad memories of it as a kid.
Of course, we haven't brought up Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda, dude, a classic.
Yeah.
Like I kind of mentioned earlier,
That's staple. Yeah.
It was another game where I made my own mini custom strategy guide for it. I grew up making these strategy sheets for a few of my favorite Nintendo games, and Zelda was one of them. I mapped out the dungeons they had on there, so I could all right, I gotta remember this, and I had my icon item sheet so I could understand all the menus on the subscreen. And Zelda. Never beat it though.
No.
I think I got up to the 4th dungeon, and that was it.
I played it for 6 hours last year, and it froze.
Oh man,
and I lost everything.
Oh no.
I think I'm going to hunt down. I'm sure some of the listeners know this, but GameCube for promotional item. I think when Wind Waker came out, they had a bonus disc, and there's 2 versions of it released. There's a bonus disc that had Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask for the GameCube, or there was a 4-pack that had
the 2 NES
Zelda
games
1 and 2,
and the 2 64 games.
No, A Link to the Past and another one.
Oh.
There's 2 different versions.
Oh, okay. Huh.
But they're both selling for anywhere from $50 to $75. But I'm just to play it on the GameCube. Is it on Virtual Console? Zelda?
Yep, Zelda and Zelda 2 are.
Maybe I should pick those up on that then. I don't know.
Remember Zelda 2 was quite different.
Yeah, it is. That really pissed me off actually.
It was kind of part Dragon Warrior, part side scroller.
Speaking of Dragon Warrior, another NES game.
Yeah, Dragon Warrior.
Final Fantasy 1.
Yep. Original Dragon Warrior was only when I guess I played 2 and 3 on Game Boy Color re-release.
They released up to 4?
Yep, they released 4 on the Nintendo, and Dragon Warrior 1 was the only one I really played on the Nintendo. I really liked it, and I could never beat it. I played a lot of it, though. I think I started at a couple points, and really liked the original Dragon Warrior.
Another classic of mine, or a favorite of mine, I should say. I don't know if it's a popular game, but Blaster Master.
Oh, yeah, I played a lot of Blaster Master.
I don't know, I guess I don't hear people bring it up too much, but I loved the shit out of Blaster Master as a kid. I know they made a sequel, too.
They made a couple sequels. I know there's even one on Genesis, and...
it was just 2, wasn't it? Just Blaster Master 2?
I'll do a quick little search for you, but I know one came out on PlayStation 1, too. I think that was the last one, yep.
I didn't know that.
I always get it mixed up. Is it Blaster Master or Master Blaster?
No, Blaster Master.
Okay, I never remember.
Master Blaster was from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I always get it mixed up. I can never get the things remembered for the life of me.
One of those games I track down again.
All right, I'm seeing version on the Game Boy Color, Genesis Blaster Master 2. Yep. I love the subtitle for the PlayStation entry. Oh yeah, that's right. They did the remake on the WiiWare. Just if you didn't know about it, man, that's another one you can download. Yeah, I heard it. Yeah,
I have to use my Wii.
It's a new Wii. It came out earlier this year, actually, February. There you go, man. You have to play the Wii again now.
Blaster Master. Give us money.
You're giving.
What's the subtitle to it?
Blaster Master blasting again. Matt's mind was just blowing everybody. That came out in 2001 also. That was a late...
Master Blaster blasting ass. That's going to be the next one. I don't know. That's lame.
That's right, Matt.
That's almost as lame as their subtitle. No, it's lamer. I'm sorry.
Oh, boy.
That was a good game, though. Either way. I like the when you get out of your vehicle, you're the super tiny guy, and then you go into the rooms, and it's... top down, wasn't it?
Yep.
I used to love that. It blew my mind when it first happened. I was like, oh my god, this is way different.
All right, next I gotta touch on this is another one of my favorite sports games on Nintendo. I guess there are a couple, but people think football games on the Nintendo. They think Tecmo Bowl, Tecmo Super Bowl. Granted, those are awesome games, great for the time. Tecmo Super Bowl. First thing I think of, first time I ever played Tecmo Super Bowl was actually about 3 or 4 years ago, which is Criminal. And yes, zigzagging with Bo Jackson is awesome. People show me, and when my buddy showed me, you can do the 99-yard end zone to end zone pass. You can do in the game was just mind blowing. I was like, hey Dale, watch this. He ran all the way back with his quarterback, bombed the ball. The ball just floated in the air from end zone to end zone. That was my mind. Then there's a cinematic with football players giving each other a high five, just to rub it in my face. But no, the play action football on the NES, man, that was my favorite. The players in there ran so slow. I cannot exaggerate how slow these guys ran. It'd literally take 2 to 3 whole minutes to run from one end of the field to the other.
Oh my god!
And but for me, I actually liked it as a kid, man. I played with my dad in co-op mode on the same team, and I'd give the ball to my dad, like our basic running play, and I treat it like it was a platforming stage in a Nintendo game, and I would block for him, switch players blocking for him while he slowly but surely ran his way down the field. So
awesome. Yeah,
some good old pair of football games on the NES.
I never got a chance to really play any of the sports. Like I said, I stayed away from it as a kid. I was never big into sports, but I got to bring up something before we wrap things up. Something that was great, but also ruined the Nintendo era, the NES era. Game Genie.
Oh yeah, Game Genie.
Game Genie was great in the early days of codes in games because it allowed you to take advantages of like bugs and stuff in codes and
extra
stuff.
lives.
Yeah, it's like 99 lives. Yeah, invincibility. But the downside is it ruined your NES and your cartridges.
Oh, okay.
Because like inserting it into the Game Genie would like strip your cartridge down, and it would also widen your NES, like forcing it in there repeatedly. I just know I can't play that's why I had to rebuy most of my old NES games. Is because it warped my Nintendo and my cartridges.
You're just too aggressive with it.
No, I mean everybody had that trouble with blowing in it, but I mean like this actually ruined cartridges for me. So, but I used to love the Game Genie when I was a kid. I mean like there's certain games I'm like, oh, I'm never going to finish this game. I'll just use Game Genie. And then I got addicted to it. But I don't know if you had any experience with the Game Genie at all. But
no, I didn't get any of those like a Game Shark on the N64. Because my No Mercy data would keep resetting for whatever reason. The cartridges kind of fucked up, and I'd always have to use that to unlock all the characters again.
Yeah, I never touched it after that. I swore that I never used anything past that. But I did use the Game Genie, and I regretted it. Like, I lost a lot of good games because of it, but it's one of those things, like, I don't know, like, it kind of started that side of things for gaming, too. I mean, they still do stuff like that from time to time. I remember, like, on the PS2, you could buy, like, a special memory card that would unlock everything in Final Fantasy, and I'm like, man, I really wouldn't want that.
It's just like the game saves, yeah.
Yeah, like, NES was a different story. I mean, those games were brutal back in the day, and they still are now. I mean, we're so pampered now in comparison to some of those games, like...
Yeah.
You had to like get your timing and your memorization of levels down to like a science.
Yeah.
And now it's like your checkpoints.
Yep.
So
I guess we're just going to run down a few more games here for just like another 10 minutes here, then we're just going to wrap things up here. So we could go all day. Yeah. But I guess a few others I got here are a couple of racing games here I know were my favorites, and both were 4-player games too. We had the 4-player adapter, so we played the crap out of a lot of 4-player games. Super Sprint, which is, if you've also played Championship Sprint or Badlands, it's the same style of racing game from Midway Williams there, where you saw the whole map on one screen and you just race around the track with 4 cars and upgrade it periodically by getting little collectibles on the map. That was a fun one. Or the other one, Super Off-Road, which other people also know as, like, I think Iron Mike or something like that.
Yeah, I always played that one in the
Iron
arcade.
or whatever. Yeah, in the arcade, it's great. They actually had the arcade machine at MGC earlier this year, and
nice.
I know my brother Joe and his friend were playing the crap out of it there. But we actually threw in Super Off-Road when we were in camping. We brought our NES there just for the hell of it, and then we threw in Super Off-Road, and the game's still fun, and still, if we played with a 4-player adapter, but after a while you lose so many races, people get eliminated, and when the computer gets in, the computer kicks your ass. They're very cheap. Any racing games you remember from the NES, Matt?
No, I didn't really play any racing games, but I do remember Spy Hunter was always a favorite of mine. I liked Spy Hunter, but something I think it'd be criminal if we didn't bring up, but Punch-Out.
But yeah, I got that on there. I
was going to say, it's something everybody played that.
The puzzle/boxing game.
Oh, yeah.
Mario's a ref, just like tennis. Yeah, I can never get past Bald Bull.
Oh. I never played it a lot. I played it a couple times. Like, my cousins had it. That's how I played, like, Rambo and DuckTales for the first times. Like, Rambo, I always say I want to pick that up, actually. But.
Yeah, Punch-Out's awesome.
Kid Icarus?
Kid Icarus. I never played, but I always heard it's ridiculously difficult.
I'll have to let you know. I picked it up a couple months back. It's really fun. So.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's a different type of game. Like, I was really surprised by it when I threw it in.
Another game that I sucked at because it was difficult was Mega Man. The very first Mega Man. I know.
Game Genie deal.
Yeah, that's what I should have used, my Game Genie.
Oh, dude, I loved Mega Man back in the day. I picked up the Anniversary Collection, and then I picked up 9.
Oh, that's how I play. Dude, yeah. I bought the Anniversary Collection a couple years ago. I found in the used game bin. Pretty cheap. I'm like, yeah, I know it's years later. I should give Mega Man another shot. I remember dying all the time as a kid. And, and I was like, now I'm wiser, better. Nope. I tried throwing the first one, just kept dying, and I even had it set on easy mode.
Yep.
And I don't know what the hell I was doing wrong. And that game wasn't very lenient. It didn't really give you too much leeway.
Never finished a Mega Man.
Though I guess I brought this up in an older show, or someone told me, like, I guess some hardcore Mega Man fans told me the first Mega Man game was the hardest one. And, like, they didn't get the true Mega Man formula down until Mega Man 2 and 3 there.
Yeah, 2 and 3 are the ones I play the most, I want to say.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Bionic Commando.
Oh, shit.
I forgot about that one. That was, like, a huge favorite of mine. And more things, I don't know if you were going to bring this up, the NES cereal. NES comic books, man. They had I
remember the
Mario
Nintendo Power
comics.
Comics in there.
I actually had Marvel, like the Mario comic. Like there was a Mario comic, Zelda comic.
Mm-hmm.
There was the cereal, which is like two different cereals in one box.
Mm-hmm.
The cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, what else was there? They had novels based off of their games, and I had a Bionic Commando novel, like a junior novel for kids.
Yep.
And somebody swiped it for me when I was in school, and I go, "Oh man, I was so mad about it."
Matt wanted vengeance.
But I'm like, dude, it's not only the games. I mean, that was like a
it was a culture.
Like, growing up in that thing, it was so huge.
Captain N, the Game Master.
Yes.
I got the DVD of that. I've watched some of the episodes.
Well, Lou Albano was
the Super Mario Brothers
yep.
Super Show.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, just to get outside of the game realm of things. Like, I don't know if you're planning on bringing anything up, but I mean, there's so much more going on. Like, even to this day, I mean, it's one of those things like. People that are into it now that didn't grow up.
Or heck, you go to like a Target or stores, apparel stores in the mall. You see like the Respect Your Roots and Nintendo branded T-shirts and stuff like that, and Nintendo belt buckles. It's all kinds of crazy crap.
Yeah. It was like we're the same age. I mean, it was 5 years old when we hit, and it was like just the right age to get into it, like to grow up with it. I mean, before that, I'm kind of glad I didn't grow up in the Atari age. Yeah, because oh God,
I still kind of did grow up with it unintentionally, just because my dad bought it at rummage sales. Yeah. Because when Nintendo was big, Atari was big on the rummage sales. Everyone was selling that to probably save money for the NES. And
Pac-Man on Atari.
Yeah, that was horrible. But yeah. Crap. Well, I guess I think we hit most of the ones on here. I got a couple other ones, but you know what? We ran long enough. I just kind of want to wrap this up, but I guess I'll just kind of rerun down this. I know during the NES special, in case those people didn't listen to it on our live show at MGC, recorded live, I had people to prepare for it. Listeners, vote for their favorite NES games, like in a top 10 list, and I'd tally up all the points and use it to give a definitive VG Evo community top Nintendo games list. And I'll just kind of rerun it down here just for convenience sake, just to see. And I know, Matt, you haven't seen this too, so I'm kind of curious to see how you'd like this list. I was going to try and come up with a top list of my own, but I couldn't. It was just Nintendo was hard to do it. I guess if I sat down and thought about it for hours on end, I could, but
yeah.
But without further ado, here's I nailed it down to the top 15 point totals here. A lot of games got a lot of votes, so thanks again for everyone who really voted for who voted for this. But number 15, we got Super Mario Brothers 2. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out was number 14. Kirby's Adventure was number 13. That was a pretty good very late NES game. Crystallis, however you say it.
Yep.
Number 12. Number 11 was Metroid. Number 10, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Yes. Good old Disney-branded 2D love there.
Disney Capcom games were the shit.
Yes. Yeah. Mickey's Mousecapade, I believe, was another good one. Number 9 was Mega Man 2. Number 8, never played this one, but Guardian Legend. Never played that one. Number 7 was the original Super Mario Brothers. Thought that would rank higher. Number 6, Castlevania 3. I barely remember. Like I said, all the NES Castlevanias are just kind of melt together for me. Number 5, River City Ransom. It's been forever since I played that.
Yeah,
I should probably buy that when I see it.
I don't think I've ever played it, actually.
I think I have vague memories of playing it. They made it for GBA, I think. I should get that one more. Number 4, the original Final Fantasy. Number 3, Mega Man 3. Number 2, Legend of Zelda. And number 1, Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I like that list. I think it was a pretty good list. Some original Mario should have ranked higher. But, yeah, gosh, so yeah, I think we're about all wrapped up here. I hope you guys liked our Nintendo retrospective. If you guys got more memories, feel free to post on our thread there on VG Evo. We got the forums there on the podcast network. Just scroll down to the On Tap forums there, and well, you should see a thread for this episode. We want to hear what you guys had to say. You can also reach us through email, mailbag@ontappodcast.com, or our Twitter feed, twitter.com/GRUEL. That's twitter.com/gruel. And you can find all my latest on-tap notes and whatever's on my mind, video games or otherwise. Also, we got Matt has a special thing he wants to share here.
Yeah, for all those still listening, I'm going to do another $20 point card offer to the first person to email Gruel.
This one needs a little bit of special knowledge here.
The first person to identify the theme song from the opening of the show will get a $20 point card of their choosing.
What?
I'll leave that out there. So I always like to do this. It's a favorite of mine, and I'll just leave it at that.
That's all right. And good thing we mentioned at the end. So now you can go back, listen to that intro music at the beginning. Guess what game that's from? Yeah. Email it to mailbag@ontappodcast.com or private message me on VG Evo, whatever you want there. So
check out that link to that video of the 749 NES games in 15 minutes. It's pretty good stuff.
Yes.
It's a great, quick trip down memory lane.
Yes,
so.
that was a nice refresher there. So, all right, well, we're done. We're out of here. Thanks again, everyone, for listening, and we will talk to everyone next time. Peace.
Bye.
Put your right hand in the box.
What's in the box?